First of all, I want to congratulate you for having pressed this video, because I can tell you these videos of mine, when we talk about the monetary system and that they are long, usually don't get many views. But I can tell you, these are the videos that really matter. So good on you, because I truly believe you will be among the 1%. And because I believe that this video is so important, I want to reward you with 20 top coins that I believe have the potential to become market leaders of tomorrow. However, I'm not going to name them in the end. I'm going to name them during the video, only because I believe you should watch it all. Only a blind man could deny that the trend is for governments as well as global central banks to develop and offer CBDCs for both economic and political reasons. You see, in my view, this could marginalize cryptocurrencies. Economically, they obviously want to protect their monetary systems and currencies to safeguard sovereignty. It's a hard word for me to say with Bell's palsy, but they want to safeguard the sovereignty of economic management. Just look at China. China's stand is clearly anti-Bitcoin. We know that. And with the People's Bank of China aiming at replacing cash, which they are doing at the speed of lightning, with a centrally controlled e-CNY that will give it controllable anonymity. This is truly a direct attack on cryptocurrencies, as you may look at them as being censorship resistant, as being permissionless, and as being decentralized. Before we go into the main theme of the CBDCs, let's talk about Bitcoin and the illusion. You see, the fixed supply of Bitcoin, and for that matter of some cryptocurrencies, is the big potential, right? It's the economic apocalypse that central banks want to avoid and that you and I are hoping can save us all. But a Bitcoinized economy, what is that? That is with a fixed supply, of Bitcoin replacing all fiat money. That's what we want, right? Would deprive the central banks of the world of the ability to conduct a counter-cyclical policy. You see, it's simple economics. If you fix nominal variables, Bitcoin in this case, gold before, real output has to adjust violently to absorb any economic financial shocks. So let's say in a case of an economic recession, when Bitcoin supply cannot expand, economic output would go into free fall. It was this problem of rigid money supply that led to the demise of the gold standard and the Bretton Woods system. These both deprived governments of the ability to counteract large negative economic shocks, financial crisis, and asset price deflation. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's fixed supply could be the dream of the next monetary currency. However, we got a big fight to fight, because the current governments and the policymakers certainly seem to disagree with us. Let's take the first thing into consideration. The environmental damage that Bitcoin mining causes is just an additional, I would say, the main reason for global authorities to tighten regulatory control of all other cryptocurrencies. Just look at China. China's example show vividly how quickly regulation could destroy the decentralized dream of a permissionless, censorship, trustless financial future. Which takes me to the first 5 coins that I want to recommend that could be the future market leaders of tomorrow. Ethereum, Uniswap, Maker, Compound, and Aave. You see, from a political standpoint, the CBDCs, they will inject a new dimension of competing sovereign interest in wielding global influence into a future currency war, which it looks like we really need. When a CBDC is generally accepted by the global community, it will boost the issuing country's currency dominance in the global reserves pool. And I just said the issuing country's currency would also be an organization's currency dominance. What one country or organization would want to achieve is that their currency is being priced as the reserve assets. But in order to achieve that, they would have to need to meet two conditions. The number one is when they're stable, liquid, and widely used in national as well as international transactions. Two, when they are backed by a country or an organization that has important linkage connections to the global system. Now you see, China's digital revolution is putting it on a path to satisfy these criteria, even though in the long term, China is also inspiring evolution, putting pressure on other countries to explore the same path. That's where we come to the development of the central bank digital currency. But before we start, I want to welcome you to Crypto Never Sleeps. In case you're new to this channel, you want to stay on top of the crypto world, then please hit like, smash, subscribe, so that you can be notified every time I upload boring videos like this. Furthermore, I'm going to give you another 5 coins that I believe can be potential market leaders of tomorrow. Polkadot, Kusama, Akala, Kilt, Altair. And now let's talk about the CBDC, which is also referred to, better known as the central bank digital currency. You see, the reason being that I am so profoundly trying to convince you that the future of finance is being built right in front of your eyes and it's being built on the blockchain is so that you can benefit from it and be among the 1% of tomorrow. But now let's go through some facts. A recent report actually was issued last year by the Bank for International Settlements, also known as BIS, together with a group of 7 central banks known as the BOJ, the European Central Bank, Bank of Canada, the Federal Reserve, Sweden's Riksbank, and the Bank of England. They together published a report laying out the key requirements for a CBDC. So after I read this document, I'm convinced that the Fed and other central banks are not going to bail out commercial banks like they have done in the past, most recently like in 2008, which from my point of view is going to lead to a 90% meltdown of the current banking system. Now we're going to go into the report today, and in the end I'll show you what the future of banking most likely will look like. Please remember, however, these are not my own predictions. This is all stated in the CBDC report issued by the Bank for International Settlements. You can find other publications that are from big institutions, which we will also go through. As I said, not my own personal view. Now, first of all, for those who've never heard about the BIS, Bank for International Settlement is the mother of all central banks. It was established in 1930. Remember 33, when we actually, who was it, Nixon abolishing the gold standard? Well, nevertheless, the BIS is owned by 62 global central banks, representing countries from around the world that together account for global GDP of 95%. So this newly released report is setting out clearly and early principles for how a national digital currency can and will be implemented in order to improve the future global monetary policies. Now, this report from the BIS, in basic terms, highlights 3 key principles that they are giving upon every global central bank that they have to be in line with, and it's important for you to know. So the first one is, a central bank should not compromise its mandate of keeping monetary or financial stability by issuing a CBDC. Second, a CBDC would need to coexist with and complement existing forms of money. I don't quite believe that. I think it will only be a matter of time, or let's say a transition period, but hey, what do I know? And 3, a CBDC should promote innovation and efficiency. I'm going to go a little bit backward here. So let's start with the third point. A CBDC should promote innovation and efficiency. And this is where it becomes tricky, because cryptocurrencies are by nature programmable. Now, to what extent this power will be used, let's jump to China just for a moment so that you can understand what a programmable currency really means. You see, the People's Bank of China recently revealed some results from the latest tests, indicating that 3.1 million digital transactions have been made in a commercial setting, hooked up to facial recognition, barcode scanning, tap and go payment technologies. That means that the digital one transacted over 6,700 types of use cases. These applications include retail, hospitality, transportation, utility payments, and government services. So to put it simply, there's actually no limit in terms of how programmable a currency can be. Which now takes me to another 5 coins: Solana, Radion, Serum, Filecoin, and Chainlink. For that matter, put Ren in there too. We're slowly coming to the end, and there's so much information that it is hard to pack this all in one video. I'm going to make a further one where I'm going to get much more technical on which blockchain or which blockchains, and also try to explain let's say the technology behind it, because here it's more philosophic. However, the way that I see it is that should be your question also, when are we going to see this transformation? When are we going to see the transition from traditional to digital? And as I've said, I believe it's going to go hand in hand. I do believe that we're going to see the future of finance, which is the Web 3.0, which I call Ethereum 3.0. We need the infrastructure to be up and running. I've said that many times. So I think that the current global monetary decision makers, they're going to keep printing money. That way they can inflate, that way they can keep the illusion that everything is going up until the Web 3.0, until the infrastructure of the future of the financial system is up and running. Then I think we're going to have an event that's going to trigger the global financial traditional markets to melt. But then we got new setup, a new system where everyone can then participate in the transition going from traditional to digital. It will mean, however, that 90% of the current banks will go bust, including all commercial, lending, and mortgage banks. Now, also another thing, it doesn't really matter what the trigger is going to be. Doesn't matter if it's going to be the pandemic. It doesn't matter if it's going to be one bank that's going to go bust. I just think the words or the wisdom or the signs, they are in the pudding. It is going to be when the infrastructure of the Web 3.0 is up and running. You see, another thing is the Federal Reserve or all other central banks, they're not obliged to bail out banks. They are only obliged to keep monetary and financial stability, which was one of the key principles laid out by the Bank for International Settlements that they were advising all central banks to follow. Now, I would also like to say one last thing. I don't see it like us being against the government or us being against the elite. I actually see it like us being in it together, because we're going to succeed together and we're going to fail together. Now, there might be a mismanagement, or there might be a track of time or a period of time where somebody's going to be left behind. But the fact that you are here, and this is also my role, is to identify the trends and what the future is going to be. Now, you can disagree with me, and I'm sure you will. I mean, there's absolutely nobody in my family that believed me a few years back, since I actually started seeing this. However, it doesn't matter. All I think that you should do is you should be aware, right? We are seeing a lot of money being printed. We are seeing an unsustainable debt across the world. And at some point, if we just go back in history, it has to implode. However, it's pretty good that we have a plan B. And the plan B is on the blockchain. So that is why I truly believe that this is where we should focus on, and this is where we should identify the leaders of tomorrow, which brings me to the last 5 coins of today. Stellar, VeChain, Theta, Algorand, Chiliz. And didn't I forget one? Well, I guess I did. Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is a true winner, because who knows? It could be that in the end of the day, after many, many years of turbulent monetary crisis, we could maybe actually see a decentralized monetary system based on Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know. We can all wish and hope. Anyway, I hope this gave you some kind of value. In case it did, well, then you know what to do. Hit like, smash, subscribe. And I want to congratulate you again for being here until the end. You know I love you. As long as you don't do me, I don't do you, everything is great. And remember, Kitty loves you.